Hey, Mac.
Let's have a
go home, get my mind right. Just hold on. Turn that down. I don't want to deal with no copyright. That joint got me scared. Remember, like in my couple of early videos, I would always have music playing in the background to kind of set the theme and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, the music kind of helps me get my thoughts out a little quicker. But unfortunately, good old I don't know what's gonna be copyrighted or not, so I can't even really be playing stuff like that no more. But it is what it is. Yeah, to go home, get my mind right from did 2 videos earlier. Just talking about a couple topic from the forum last night and my take on it. And although I didn't say much at the forum, what I took away from it, and you know, I'm gonna continue with this video now, going into something else. There's another situation that happened. Man, I had to get my mind right because whew, here's the thing. Like I tell people, it's like, yo, when empathy is a part of your repertoire, when you can feel what another person's going through and all of that type of stuff, you hear people's circumstances and you literally feel the hurt and you feel the confusion and you feel the anger and all of that, man, like it's very draining, very draining. And at one point last night, I even found myself having a headache because I was getting so agitated because of the things that was going on and certain responses and stuff like that. And, you know, I had to calm down and just kind of sit to myself and just regroup because I was taking on so much energy at one point. I was taking on so many different things. But anyway, that's here nor there. Anyways, I'm good. This video is not about that, though. This video is about... I was speaking with a brother last night, a couple brothers last night, even sisters. And, you know, another conclusion I came to last night is nobody's really ready to look in the mirror yet. Most aren't ready to look in the mirror yet. What I mean by that, kind of taking that from, you know, Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror type stuff and all that type stuff, you know. It's that concept. Everybody is so ready to point out the next person's flaws. Everybody, you got that list. You got that list down packed of what this person did and that what you're not doing in this relationship. Oh, what men have not done, what men are not doing, you know, what women are not doing, what this wife is not doing, what this husband is not doing. Everybody has that down packed. But then when you tell that same person to look in the mirror, look at yourself, and start have that same energy, and start pointing out what it is. Everybody's all mum is the word all of a sudden. Or matter of fact, here's the one, oh, I'm not changing for nothing, you know. Now, I do understand that there are generational situations, you know, old people that are older and quote unquote set in their ways and stuff like that. I mean, I don't necessarily make an excuse, because if you want to change for the better, if you have a crap personality and you want to change for the better, you can, regardless of how old you are. I believe that. But, you know, tell that to people that say, I've been this way for 30 odd years, I ain't changing now. Well, then you're going to still have those problems and those issues that you've been dealing with for 30 odd years, and you're going to continue to have them. And if you're fine with that, then that's cool. I'm fine. You know, I'm not living with them. You are, you know. And again, I speak in reference to being a better you. Understand? Not speaking in reference to change qualities about you that are noble qualities, that are qualities that have allowed you to gain wisdom, or qualities that allow you to grow, or qualities that allow you to see things the way you see things and to continue to live life prosperity. No, I'm not saying those things, oh, you need to change. No, I'm talking about the things that hold you back. I'm talking about the things that keep you single. I'm talking about the things that keep you from growing, keep you from learning. See, once you're able to put that mirror in front of you, once you're able to say, okay, this, and here's what I saw last night. Here's what I saw. People are, it's cool to, It's cool to acknowledge the crappiness in you. Man, I just got temper, so that's just me. Oh, well, I don't deal with that. That's just me. That's just who I am. It's so cool to point out your flaws. Hey, to point out those things that tend to make you a shitty individual. And you've grown to a point where it's just a part of you, and that's just it. Again, I'll use myself because I can only speak from my experience. And I say this in most of my videos, I have a temper. I have anger issues. People tend to not believe me because I'm so laid back. You wanna know why I'm so laid back? Because if I lose it, I'm going to hurt somebody. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. There'll probably be 2 sentences, 2 arguments, and then it's what we doing, what we doing, what we doing. And unfortunately, people don't like to fight anymore nowadays. So whatever. But that's here nor there. I told this story in another video where I was actually on I was actually doing Bible study with my family, and I broke down because I felt like I was powerless. I felt like I was powerless against it, that I was just gonna be I'm just angry, and I'm just always gonna be angry, and it's just, and you know because I always acknowledged it. I always say that's just who I am. I just got to learn how to deal with it, and that's just what it is. And I never put the time in to figure out what the hell has me so angry. What gets me to that? What takes me from 0 to 100 real quick? What I took from last night is people are they know themselves so well that they're their own enemies. They know themselves so much. Well, you know, I mean this and that and whatever, and it's just like, okay, you have this particular this happened to you because you dealt with this particular person who so happens to be this particular way or whatever. So what you're telling me is you took that circumstance now, you're scarred, you're scorned, whatever, and you're going to use that and put that on everybody else that comes in your path? No, yo. No. I was talking to a young lady. There, and she had approached me, and she had brought up the fact that I wasn't saying much because she had paid attention, and I applaud her. I couldn't believe that she had noticed, because I just kind of when I say I stopped talking, I stopped talking. She had approached me and was just like, you know, I noticed that you wasn't saying much. I forgot exactly the expression she used, but you know, we ended up, you know, having a quick pro quo, quick talk, just, you know, going through a couple of the topics, and I gave her, you know, a piece of my mind, not like rude or anything like that. I gave her a piece of my mind as to what I was feeling from the crowd, and what I interpreted it from the discussions that we were having, and I came to a few conclusions that I disclosed to her and stuff, and we kept it moving. And, you know, we ended up on the topic of her in a particular situation that she had dealt with. She made like she asked me, you know, she asked me a question, and I asked her pertaining to what, and she said she heard something. I'm trying to keep this real clean because I don't want it to get out who it is. So, you know, I went back and said, you know, this and that, and she laughed and was like, okay, well. She was like, all of that is the same. And I'm like, why would you say something like that? You don't even know me. And we went back and forth. We went back and forth talking about it. And, you know, I said, well, why do you have that way of thinking? And she told me that she had been through a circumstance where, you know, it caused her to begin to think like that. And she's just held on to that. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so you're... And as I just said, you know, and I brought it to her attention, I said, so you're fine with that frame of thinking to just, you know, to lash out because of something that happened to you in the past, and, you know, you're just going to always have that stigma. And she said no, she wasn't. So we started this is where I started to get a little deeper. So I started to ask questions, and I started to continue to go down and to go down and to go down and to go down. See, the thing that I learned with that, and I learned this last night with that situation, and I may have known this before, but you know, I probably forgot it, and just to see it transpire in front of me again, it just gave me that wow, oh wow. It's really not that she was unwilling to look in the mirror. She was very willing to look in the mirror. She held the mirror up. She looked in the mirror. She acknowledged a flaw. But when I asked her, when you know, she said, how does she fix it? She doesn't even know where to start. And it hit me, and I was just like, because as I was digging deeper and digging deeper, she was like, well, I don't even know where to start and how to fix that. And it hit me like, I had to realize that even in that room, there are people out there that, yes, they put that bravado up and they say, oh, well, that's just me and I'm just this and I'm just that. At the end of the day, they may have had good intentions to try and change, but if a person doesn't know where to start, then it's just something that's going to sit there, and it's going to grow and fester, and then it's going to be more stuff you got to add. It's going to be more stuff that you're going to have to dig through just to get back to it. And I was like taken aback, because I was like, wow, she doesn't know where to start. And you know, unfortunately, we did not get to finish the conversation. I would have loved to have finished it, but we didn't get to finish it. She got pulled away. And because I started to ask questions, and I started to dig deeper and deeper, and I could see that it made her a little uncomfortable. But that's just the honest truth. See, the thing is, when you're digging up your past, when you're digging up things that have harmed you, and you haven't dealt with them, it's gonna get uncomfortable. You're gonna feel hurt again. You know, these are things that you haven't dealt with. These are issues that you haven't come to terms with. It's very difficult to look in the mirror and ask why you deal with this. Why are you doing that? Why do you feel this way? I in earlier relationships, I would have a particular behavior that would be done when I felt like the woman didn't care about me no more. And I noticed that was in most of my relationships. It would happen. When I felt like the woman didn't care anymore, I would do this. And I did it, and I did it, and I did it. And even not in relationships, even in just, you know, just screw buddies or just whatever, this and that. Not saying that I was like all enamored with them or anything like that, but I'm just like, well, dang, you're not going to do that? All right, I bet. I'm going to go do me. Whatever. You know, it is what it is. At some point, I had to sit down and ask why. Why is it that I feel like this? Why is it that I've always felt like this when it comes to women and who I'm dealing with and who I love? Let me tell you, that's one of the hardest things I had to do. It's hard to look at yourself and say, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It's time to sit down and look back and see why this, and this is happening. Why are you allowing this to happen? When you sit down and do that, you have to be prepared for the revelations that come to you. And sometimes they're not going to come to you. Sometimes you need somebody to jumpstart that. Sometimes it's not up to you. You may cross paths with somebody that helps you to start to get why it is that you are the way that you are, and to start to question and to start to go back and look. And that particular situation, in that particular instance with myself and that behavior and the root of it is something that I dealt with from childhood, and it hit me, and I was just like, this is it. And you'll know when you get to the bottom of something. You'll know it. You know it. I can't explain it. This is the point of the video. when you recognize something as a harmful behavior, and I say that because everybody recognizes different things as harmful behaviors to them. Everybody will get to a point where they say, you know what? I don't want to be like this no more. I want to become better. You know what? I don't want to exhibit this trait anymore. I want to be better. You'll come to that decision on your own, you know? Or maybe it'll be based upon you dealing with somebody. But you'll come to that decision. And when you come to that decision, you're going to have to first of all, figure out what it is. And I mean, you need to, don't make it broad at all. You have to figure out what exactly it is. What's the behavior? Oh, well, I don't like cheese. No. Let's break it down. You don't like the smell of cheese. You don't like the texture of cheese. You don't like the way it looks. Break it down, because the only way you'll be able to get to the root of it is when you break down what it is that you don't like about it, what it is that turns your stomach, what it is that this, what it is that what it is that pisses you off about him, about her. Let me just see somebody, they say, oh, you know, they with somebody and they'll be like, well, I love him, but I don't like him. Why don't you like him? Why don't you like him? And a lot of people, most people say that, and they say it so nonchalantly, and I'm like, do you understand like the repercussions that it comes with a situation like that? Like, I get sometimes you don't like them, sometimes you feel like you don't love them, but I mean, to say that and to just say it and be like, nah, I don't like them or whatever like that, I mean, why? You're with them. There has to be something. What happened? And here's the thing, people don't like to do that, because then it's gonna cause them to have to really look in the mirror and have to look and figure out what it is. Because then you're gonna start asking questions. Well, dang, why don't I like him or her? When did that start? Because at one point I had to have liked them. When did it start? Break it down. Well, what don't I like? I love the way she looks. I love the way he looks. I love this about him. I love that about her. Oh, it's the way that they did this. That one time, or that 2 times, or that 3 times. Why is that? It's because of this. Where does that lead to? That's how you have to break it down. See, last night showed me that people may be willing to get to the root of the problem. They just don't know how. They don't. It's just ignorance. They don't know how. They've never had to look in the mirror and really look in the mirror. It's not just what's on the surface. It's not just this mole or this, that, or these bags or whatever. It's not just that. It's looking past that. Looking into your own soul. See, everybody wants to be able to look into the next person and see your life in their eyes. And everybody wants to look at the next person and see their soul. Show me your soul. Look in the mirror and look in your soul. And figure out yourself. And be honest with yourself. Let me tell you, like, it is hard to continuously to be honest, because you could be honest with yourself for the first month. You could be honest with yourself. It's the continuously being honest with yourself, to continue to hold yourself accountable, to continue to say, hey, some people it comes very easy. I know plenty of friends right now, it comes so easy to them. They can do it. They're just always honest with themselves. Now, as far as if they're willing to grow out of that, then that's something different. But I know that. And most people can't do that. But then it's like, now the next part of it comes. Okay, you want this person to be this way, and that way. And when they're not this way, and that way, you expect them to change for you. But you're not willing to change for them, because you admitted your flaws and you say it's just that, take it or leave it, because that's how you decide to deal with it. And it is what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking nobody that's like that. But let it be known that, you know, people if they don't want to deal with it, they don't want to deal with it. And they don't keep it moving. And you're going to still be whatever situation you're in until you happen to find somebody that's just as jacked up as you in that particular sense, and keep moving. But you got to be willing to accept what you give. So if you're giving people that, oh, well, this is me and that's that. Well, if a person come back to you and I love you, but this is me and that's that. You see what I'm saying? See, the thing is, everybody wants to lecture. Everybody wants to lecture. Everybody wants to say, you need to look at yourself and get yourself right. You need to this and you need to that. Men need to this. Women need to that. My king should be able to do this. My queen should be able to do that. Everybody wants to lecture. Everybody loves to hear themselves talk. See, the thing is, to be a king, to be a queen, you have to be able to lecture and you have to be able to listen. You can't do that without, you can't do one without the other. You have to listen. Take in information, process it, understand it. You don't listen to respond. You don't listen to just rebuttal. You listen to understand. I don't know if anybody's ever talked to me and noticed that, like, because I would, like, think about it, and I'm like, I must look real dumb looking at them like this and, like, making faces or... You see what I'm saying? That's because I'm listening and I'm trying to process it, and sometimes I do mess up, and I'll cut them off, and you know, I'll have people tell me like, hey, stop, wait, I'm not finished yet, and I'm like, oh, okay, go ahead, and you know, because you got to get all the information in order to process it. So you know, sometimes some of us, we do process things quick, but we process what we want to process, and the rest we throw out the window. No, you can't do that. You need to process everything, because a person has a full thought. And when they have that full thought, you need to be able to go back and think about that full thought and then come back with, all right, are you sure? And most times I'll ask a question after that. Okay, you said this. This is what you mean? Is this what you mean? Okay, now I can ask my question or whatever like that. So you have to listen to understand. See, conversations shouldn't be, when you're trying to understand something, conversations shouldn't be 1, 2, 3. You know, you should be taking in stuff, and you should be saying like, hold on. Okay, this is what you mean. All right, now I can, you know, this. And that needs to happen with people themselves and with relationships. You have to be able to lecture and listen. You have to be able to teach and learn. That's the other aspect of it. People are not willing to teach. Everybody wants somebody to learn something. Everybody wants somebody, you need to just know. Learn how to be with me. You need to learn how to be with me. But you're not willing to teach. Okay, I don't know how to be with you. So teach me. It's a two-way street, because then that person has to be willing to learn. You see what I'm saying? This is why things break down so much. I had issues of teaching. Teach a person to know how to be with me. It takes a lot. I think highly of whoever is standing by my side. So I want you to be able to deal with me. And I've also had problems with learning, because I'm stubborn at times. You know, I can be. It's a two-way street. You have to be willing to teach a person how to be with you. And if you're not, then, you know, you just need to chill to yourself. And you may get lucky and find somebody that can just pick up on it, because there are people out there that are just good, and they can just pick up on it, and they'll make, you know, this and be very observative and get it right away. But, you know, there are times where it's not like that, you know, and most of us need to be taught. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out because it's getting a little long. But so that's the thing I've come to. You know, you got to be willing to look in the mirror. You got to be willing to really search your soul to figure out what it is that's bothering you and that's messing with you. You got to be willing to learn and teach, and you got to be willing to lecture and listen. All right?